So this is the USDCAD analysis for Friday, the 10th of November. So let's just have a look what happened with prices on the 9th of November. So it's going to grab the pen. Uh, there we are on the 9th of November. So on the 9th of November, we did see prices kind of slightly react to the 400 period minute moving average. We were holding it, but we were expecting a break to the downside, as we did have what appeared to be, I find them difficult to interpret on the charts, but I'll be honest, there's a bit of a bear flag. We did see the break of the level. We've had a retest below the 400 period average, and we've seen a break. Now we are targeting to the downside 126.22. That's the next major level before we potentially see a bounce in prices. So overall, our bias is short to the downside, all the way back down to this 126.22 before we potentially see some more buy side momentum. Now, if we do turn around from where we are at present, we'll be looking to see. Let's get this chart up. If we did turn around from where we are at present, we'll see our price react to the 400 period average, where it provides an opportunity for more short selling to possibly target our short to medium term target at 26.22. Now, if we do see prices do trade back above the invalidating the 400 period moving average, we'll be targeting, if we don't see bearish momentum coming to the market around that 400 period moving average, we'll be targeting in around that 127.78. Beyond which we've got this 200 period moving average, which we'd have to successfully navigate before possibly looking at 26, 27, the 128 level. So in around this 128 level, where we did see some selling momentum come back into the market, 128, that'll be the far end of the range, I could imagine. 128, I would imagine, be the far end of the range. We've had a very strong catalyst. We are operating in the shadow of this very bearish candle here. We did retrace quite a bit above, well, into that candle, but it still holds as a reference point. So we are still somewhat short side biased in this market. We'll have to see how we react to this 400, I've already mentioned 200, and this major level in around 27.78. So the breakdown, I'm looking for 26.22, below which we'll be looking at. Can't imagine we'll get much below 50 points. I can't imagine we'll get much below. But the very next levels we'll be looking at, if we don't see much of a reaction, or we don't consolidate in around 26.22, the very next major levels all the way down 25.30 definitely won't come into focus. So I would expect the far end of the range today on the 10th of November to be in around at 126 or in around at 125.80. So in around that 20 pip zone is potentially where I would expect prices to be if we do see some selling momentum come to the market. Without fundamental catalyst, I can't imagine price getting over that to 125.30. So in around at 126, 125.80 would be the far end of the range before we possibly see a bounce, a counter trend bounce in prices. If we don't see a counter trend bounce in and around at 126.22. Now, we've mentioned our the far end of the range to the upside and the downside. So we're just going to have a look at the daily chart and the weekly chart before wrapping up here. So if we go over to the daily chart, we're just going to get the scale on here correct. On this daily chart, we can see that let's just see, overall we were in an uptrend, so we've had a move up, consolidation, breakout to the upside. We didn't quite got up to our target of 129.24. We instead stalled in around that 129 level. Now what we've seen more recently has been a what could be interpreted as a bearish trend to the downside. So we've had a series of strong bearish candles closing near their lows, indicating some strong selling momentum. We have this anomaly here, which is this bullish candle, which is probably in the overall trend might just be profit taking or a news related event. But we've seen the selling momentum continue in the market, invalidating the bullishness of this candle here, where we have the red triangle beneath. Now we've closed below the 20 period moving average here on the daily time frame. It has not held as potential support. So at present, due to the most recent trend being slightly to the downside, candles closing near their lows, we're expecting further continuation to the downside. Now, the fact that we've had a pretty consistent trend to the downside on Friday, sometimes we do see profit taking, and we might see counter trend movements. So even though our overall trend is to the downside on a Friday, we might see a slight move to the upside before we get continuation into next week. But overall, we are expecting price to go all the way down to this 26.22 level. So let's just have a look at the weekly time frame before wrapping up here. On a weekly time frame, we can see here we were in a very strong uptrend just there. Now we've posted a bit of a pin bar there last week, and we've had a continuation this week so far. We have had a week to the upside, so there was movement to the upside, but we're currently trading near the candle lows. So we're likely, well, we are going to put in a second bearish week, so we appear to be putting a bit of a top here, just for over the short to medium term on this weekly time frame. So we might get retracement, possibly. If we do get a deep retracement, we might be targeting the 200 period moving average actually. So I'm just going to see where the 200 period moving average is. It's in around an area where we have got a bit of confidence as well. So 200 period moving average sitting around 25.23, and we've got the weekly pivot at 25.30. So 25.30, 25.23. So just say 25.30. We've got the 400 period moving average as was the weekly pivot. So that will likely, if we do get further continuation, that could potentially be our target. We will see a nice strong bounce next week at some point if we do get the consolidation, well, the continuation all the way down to 25.30 level. So that should wrap up the US dollar CAD analysis. So before I go, LCS, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.